I descend the stairs, opening the cellar door.
You guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh my gosh.
The first time I visited this room,
Oh no.
the smell of blood from within was nearly suffocating.
What the heck that was.
Now the entire house reeks of it. I start to go numb to the odor. There's no one here. Am I in the wrong place? I've been exploring the cellar, hoping to maybe find a key hidden away or abandoned somewhere. As I reach my hand out to investigate one area, a shadow leaps out of the thick darkness. So swift I had no time to react. The body freezes in place. The shadow stands before me, holding the tip of a blade mere inches from my face. Duck used a Samurai Jack voice.
A key. You have a key.
I do, yes. Cold sweat trickles down my back. My voice is shaken. There's no hiding it. The shade appears to be glaring at me, though I cannot make out its face. After a few seconds, it draws its blade.
Let me see it. The boy's key. Did he give it to you?
In the rose garden, yes. Are you two acquaintances? How could that be, though? You're from a completely different era and country.
Who are you? No, never mind. Who you are is irrelevant to me.
Are you human now?
If you are speaking of my nature, then no is the only answer I can give you.
You didn't kill me, though. You wanted to, you could have easily skewered me where I stand.
If that is what you want, I'd be happy to oblige. What did you come here for?
For your key. I came to ask you to give it to me.
You mean to open that door?
I need to get into the tower, yes.
I see. Take it.
The man in shadow tosses the key at my feet. I'm not quite sure what to think. I didn't expect him to give it up so readily.
What? Take it. I won't stab you in the back while you're bending over.
I thought we were supposed to hold on to this at all costs.
I no longer have any reason to guard that key. In the past, I might have severed your head from your shoulders the moment you mentioned it, though.
What point did it pass?
That's a question I wish I knew the answer to. Hey, do you know why I'm here? Where this place is? When it is? Why can't I get out of here? What's happened to me? Tell me! I have no idea what's going on. Not a single goddamn idea!
Neither do I.
Get out. Take the key and get out of here. Get out!
Can't bring myself to say anything to the enraged shadow. So I followed his command, picking up the key, departing the cellar. I thought I was dead for a second. This makes two, though. What could have happened between these people? The painting mentioned a past with them. Morgana spoke of the wicked men she cursed. Does that mean they did something awful enough to earn Morgana's spite? Right now, though, I must push onward. If I'm not mistaken, the final key should be in that room. The room with the billiards table? What is billiards, anyway? I should get moving. Once I have this key, I can get into the observation tower. I'm certain Morgana is waiting for me there. With Giselle. So I gather my resolve and hurry to the last room, not wanting to take even a second longer than necessary getting her back. Can hardly believe my eyes when I step into the den. Huh. In the middle of the room is a large rectangular table. Several balls roll across its surface and perch in one corner. Looking down the floor, it's her. Giselle. Giselle! The question of why she's here never crosses my mind. All I feel is elation to see her once more. There's no room for anything else in my head. I run over to her, put my hand on her shoulder. Thank goodness, you're right! And turn towards me. What? What? Giselle? Giselle! I shake her, cause her head to droop lifelessly. There's not a trace of light in her unmoving eyes. Why? Giselle, why? Say something, Giselle! Say anything, please! This can't be. You can't be. It can't be! My mind goes blank. I can't catch my breath. The world is hazy. Why is Giselle... Why did I have to find her like this? Why? I swore I would do anything. I swore I would never lose you again. No. This can't be. A thought crossed my dazed, despair-wrought mind. It's probably nothing more than vain hope, but... Not a drop of blood spilled from my breast. That's right. She doesn't bleed. So this can't be her. This isn't her. Or maybe Morgana has the power to alter Giselle's very nature. Kill her with a flick of her wrist. No, I don't even want to think about it. There's no hope to be found down that path. All I can do is pray. Beg for her to still be alive. Or if alive isn't the right word, herself. My prayers bring me back to reality, which is when I realize... Huh? There's something hard pressed against the back of my head. I hear a harsh, metallic clink. Huh? What? Yeah. A piercing bang rips through the air as I drop to the hard floor. My ears are ringing painfully. Through clouds of smoke and confusion, I see a man's silhouette. James.
Missed.
It takes several moments for me to recognize the object in his hand as a gun. Not only because it's draped in shadow, but because I've never seen one with my own eyes. Had I not witnessed what they were capable of through the stories, would not have understood how terrifying they were.
Not a problem, though. I'll finish you with the next one. Now, you hold still, boy. Start running around like a rat, and I can't guarantee you a painless death.
Wait, hold on a second. What are you trying to kill me for?
Because you make too much goddamn noise, that's why.
Don't tell me. You're the one who...
What?
Turn my gaze towards the large table. Giselle isn't there. It's been an illusion after all. The realization sends a wave of relief through me. As if a gun in my face, though.
Curious man, you are. Does the table warrant your attention more than me?
I have a request. Could you give me the key in your possession? That's all I need. Then I'll leave and stop making a racket.
I'm not sure you understand your predicament, boy. Because if you think you're in any position to be asking for favors, you're dumber than you look. Ha! First off, I don't even know what the key is you're talking about.
I don't believe that. The other two had keys.
You telling me they gave you their keys?
Sounds like they really do know each other. See for yourself. I believe you should recognize these.
Are you collecting them to enter the tower? Are you gonna go see Morgana?
There seemed to be a hint of tension in the man's voice. Though I can't see his face, I can sense the waves forming within them. Brace myself for either rejection or hot lead. But the apparition gives me neither.
Take me with you.
What?
You have the other two keys, don't you? Then you can open the door. Bring me up to the witch.
Wait, slow down. What are you planning to do when you see her?
What do you think? She has to... She... has to...
Huh? He's gone. She has to... What? What's he trying to say? On the floor where the shade stood is a new key. Curious though I am about his last words. This makes 3 of all the keys now. Are you trying to rile me up, Morgana? Are you enjoying yourself up there? Showing me these phantoms and watching me squirm in this fetch quest? Just you wait. I'm on my way. I get the room and breathe once over before making my way back to the chapel. The keys fit perfectly in the openings on the lock. When I insert the last one, it clicks open. The chain sealing the door falling to the floor. They're waiting beyond this door, at the top of the stairs. I start pondering what I can even do in a face-off against Morgana. I sense a nervous shudder down my spine. I'm not going to back down, regardless, but she is a witch. I'm a mere human. Formerly human. I'm not a master swordsman, nor do I wield a gun. I had nothing at all with which to fight her. Still to confront the witch, though, no matter what. As laughable, reckless, as foolish as I may be, no other option. I place my hand on the door, preparing to climb the tower where I once spent my last breath. Giselle locked safely away in the chamber at the top. The tower where I first met the witch. No hesitation. The sound of blood streaming down the stairs echoes off the stone walls. Though I have grown numb to the house's otherworldly ornamentation, the sight of seemingly endless river of blood flowing down a spiral staircase sends a chill through me. Every step I climb makes a splat noise. When I reach a window, I look out to see a churning reddish black fog.
Now, this brings me back. You, climbing these stairs alone, just like old times.
Morgana.
I waited so long for someone like you to show up. Someone with enough to spare to resurrect me.
Give her back.
But now, I don't see it in you. I don't feel one bit of that intense hopelessness anymore.
Give her back!
And here I thought we were cut from the same cloth.
Morgana!
Yes, I'll give her back. If you can make it to me without losing yourself.
I will not give up. It doesn't matter what you do. Looking up, I can't see how far the stairs extend. It's just like gaping blackness. So no way of knowing for sure whether I'm getting any closer. Around and around and around and around and around and around. Beneath me, the blood river traces the same path in reverse. I start to wonder if the staircase even does end. If I'm not just eternally retracing my own steps. But I continue climbing regardless. That's all I can do. Put one foot in front of the other. I hope I make it to the top. Morgana. What is this place? What did you do to it?
What is it? Why, it's the mansion you lived in for a decade, of course.
You look at this and tell me it's the same house? What's with the blood everywhere? And the three shadows?
Now, my dear. No need to raise your voice. And you're being impolite. One question at a time.
Answer me!
What is this place? That's immaterial. Even if I were to give you an answer you found satisfying, what would that knowledge do for you? Your objective is to reach the top of these stairs and rescue Giselle. Nothing more, nothing less. Isn't that right? Or, by chance, have you taken an interest in me? Despite never once asking me about myself before.
My gut tells me that without knowing what this place is, without even the briefest glimpse at its nature, I'll be able to safely get her back. Without knowing what I'm up against, I don't stand a chance. Please, tell me about this mansion, Morgana. About yourself. What are you, Morgana?
A witch.
No, that's not what I'm asking. Why do you have the powers you do? What are you?
Yes, I get it. Humans feel the need to attach names to things and phenomena they don't understand. I understand that feeling very well. Which is why I'm sure you'll be rather disappointed when I reveal the truth.
What do you mean?
What I mean is, I'm an ordinary human.
That's not possible. You expect me to believe a human created this illusion?
Then you are saying I'm a magician or a wizard, like you might see in a fairy tale?
Or believe that? Or you being human?
Think back, then, would you? Recall our time together. Did I ever once use magic? Did I control fire or wind? Did I create illusions? No, I did none of that. Because I could not. To you, when you were alive, I suppose you could say. I was naught but a simple ghost. A rather mischievous but otherwise powerless spirit. And I was nothing more to those three men either. The witch, Morgana, was never anything but a wretched phantom haunting this old house.
But then, how do you explain this?
Michelle.
You got cut off at the end there.
Michelle, my dear. We are not the same beings we once were. We're different than we were in the realm of light, the era of living. You figured that much out, though, haven't you? That you were already dead.
Yes, I know. I know it couldn't possibly be alive.
Yet you still view this world through the lens of the living. You make no effort to see it as the land of the dead. Tell me, why would you think that the realm of the living and dead are the same?
Though the worlds behind each door were so vibrant, the mansion itself never had any color. They were the memories of the past, of the land of the living, the times forever lost to us.
Our lives have already come to an end, my dear. Every last soul within these walls is dead. This is the world that lies beyond the end. That is my world. This is the afterlife. Why get caught up in the mutiny? None of us has a future. So what reason is there for you to desperately obsess over taking Giselle back? Just like you. She's long since dead. She's a walking corpse.
It's nothing I didn't already know, but hearing her say it, it's like a kick to the gut. There are lies she still lives on within this house. My spirit found its way back too. Why then should I not wish for her to have a future? No matter what form it may take, no matter if my choices erase her from this world entirely, having seen what lies beyond the door in her heart, what happened in all those hundreds of years, I could never let her remain here with you, trapped in this world bereft of light, drifting aimlessly for all eternity.
So determined you feel the need to raise your voice. But you're not going to budge on that point, I see.
Answer this again, Morgana. Please, tell me about yourself. How did you become a witch? How did you end up attached to this house? I want to hear your story.
You honestly want to know about me?
You now, yes.
But not for me. For her, right? Don't be shy now. It's the truth, isn't it? Besides, if you did say it was for me, not her, I might die of laughter. As you wish. You have seen many tales of people's lives since arriving here, and now you shall see mine. Though I ask you this, will you writhe in despair with me? Will you endure maddening agony for me? Will you know pain enough to make you howl? Will you face despair? Again and again and again?
As I said before, if that is what you want from me,
Let me tell you something, though, my dear. It will not be easy to watch as you imagine. Now that you've reclaimed yourself, you will be able to feel all my pain as if it were your own, to resonate with it.
resonate with it?
You no longer have your little guardian with you either.
My guardian. She was always protecting me.
You'll have a wonderful time, I'm sure. It's a tale that could only have taken place in that era of miracles and spirituality. Wondrous and weird, senseless and stupid. Hopelessly tragic. Will you watch it with me?
Since the final words leaves her mouth, I'm engulfed in darkness, not even given a moment to brace myself. The tower stair crumble beneath me. My feet have nowhere to go, so I'm being battered by the roaring blood river. The consciousness melds with another. Nika? Just do that one line.
I'm here. I carry within me, child of God.
CJ?
That is where it all began. The words of one foolish woman determined the course of my entire life. Before I was even born, my fate was decided. Did her claim come from faith? Was it her way of escaping reality? Did she do it for money or fame? I don't know.
Nika.
I have been visited by an angel of the Lord. The village where she
No, that's
lived
CJ's narration.
Oh, so sorry.
The village where she lived had suffered from years of poor harvest. It had been months since the last rain, and all the villagers prayed desperately to be blessed with the succor. I
am with a child, though I have known no man.
So proclaimed the pregnant woman in the midst of the drought. And on the day of my birth, the very moment I let out my first cry, a heavy rain fell down upon the village. The storm quenched the parched earth, nourishing the crops and saving the village. The villagers were astounded, for they had thought the drought would never end. As plump drops of rain poured down upon the village, they gathered around the newborn me in exultation.
Ah, she is the child of God.
Perhaps there would be more wonder in claiming I had magical powers. Perhaps it would make a better story if I were to say there were higher forces involved. But all these years later, here is what I truly think. It was nothing more than a fluke. An improbable stroke of luck. An unbelievably fortunate accident for my mother and the village. An undescribably unfortunate accident for myself. I am with child, though I have known no man. As if that had been possible. Maybe she had fooled around with a man who had gone and abandoned her. And she spouted those lies to convince herself it never happened. None of the village men made any claim to be my father. Perhaps he was someone else's husband, as much as that he couldn't reveal himself as adultery is a sin in the eyes of God. The girl they were praising as the child of God was indeed not more than the ordinary daughter of a wretched woman. At the time, though I thought differently, I believed that my mother's words convinced I was a saint. It gave me a sense of duty, of purpose, rather than superiority. As the daughter of God, I believed it was my responsibility to help anyone in need. So every day I prayed. I asked my father what I could do, what it was I meant to do. Not everyone is equally good, however. There will always be someone who lends their ear to the devil's whispers. One man claimed I was the daughter of a charlatan. He shouted for all to hear, "If you really are the child of God, then perform a miracle for us." Could he have been any more unreasonable? Miracles are neither magic nor parlor tricks. They are realized through the power of faith. A lowly villager has no place demanding God prove his own divinity. It is the height of arrogance. But the man refused to heed my words. So, having no other choice, I contemplated what I could do to show him I was, indeed, a saint. And blood was the spark of my inspiration. Giselle, the time when I lived and the time when you lived were not so different. Our views and beliefs about the world were very much the same. So, you should understand that in our time, blood was seen as unclean. It was a dreadful thing, ridden with diseases, which is why we drained the blood from animals and purified the flesh before consuming it. But being a saint, my blood would have been different. Like the blood of the saints who came before me, mine would be blessed. I believed I would be able to cleanse the people's impurities. For my demonstration, I chose an elderly woman afflicted with a terrible disease. She was on her deathbed, and no one thought she would live for longer than a day or two. The woman was overjoyed when I came to visit her. Sincerely believing me to be a holy servant of the Lord, she gathered all the strength she could to muster to climb from her bed and kiss my feet. I felt an intensely deep love for this woman. Placing my hands upon her cheeks, I said with all the kindness in my heart, "My beloved sister, partake of my blood." The woman agreed without a glimpse of hesitation. So I pricked the tip of my finger with a knife and let the blood drip into her mouth. Within 3 days, her health has improved enough for her to get out of bed unassisted. Seeing that, no one in the village doubted my powers any longer. In fact, the man who had accused me of being the daughter of a charlatan was subsequently punished for his sins. He received much deserved retribution for challenging the daughter of God, for mocking her. But of course, being a saint, I forgave the man. He, in turn, repented and changed his ways, worshipping me as the true child of God. Now, I'll be honest with you. I was ecstatic, utterly elated. I felt like I was on top of the world. I now reveled in it. The villagers showered me with adulation. They revered me in the daughter of God. Anyone who didn't was punished. And on top of that, my blood could only cause miracles. Tell me, do you look down on me for feeling the way that I did? The actual child of God would never let herself be consumed by such base emotions, would she? But if you'd give me a chance, I'd like to explain myself.
A moment. Continue, please.
I was but a young girl at the time. And to a child, her mother is the world. Anything she says is the absolute truth. So when my mother's claims so happened to coincide with a lucky miracle, my young mind was set in stone. I was a saint. My blood could heal, and nothing would convince me otherwise. After all, I was but a girl of 6 years old. It is not my place to decide whether my blood had truly miraculous powers or not. If you think it did, then it did. And if you think it was all happenstance, then so it was. Miracles are brought by the faith. So the elderly woman who was healed was done so by the power of her own belief. Baseless hope and desire can at times make the otherwise feel impossible. My OCD and dyslexia, oh my goodness.
Don't worry about it.
At times make the otherwise impossible reality. You understand just how a major role religion played in our time, don't you, Michael? We shall help. Especially as someone whose life was taken from him in the name of God. And do you understand how powerful word of mouth can be as well, don't you? It didn't take long for the word of the miracle-performing child of God to spread. Travelers from faraway lands came to our village, all in search of aid. Driven by a mixture of elation and duty, I gave my blessings unto every pilgrim who got them. I gave them my blood, yes. My young hands were perpetually covered in wounds, running out of skin on my fingers. I cut the back of my hands, my palms, my wrists. Before long, they had turned into swollen, carved-up black and red horrors. And so I kept them wrapped in cloth at all times. The only time I uncovered them was to give blood to those who sought it. My lacerated hands were, in no uncertain terms, gruesome and unsightly. But the believers who came to see me all wept at my selfless sacrifice. And so I came to cherish those wounds. There were some for whom no miracle took place, but whenever that would happen, the villagers would come out and say, "The daughter of God is not to blame. You simply lack sufficient faith." Thus, such incidents had no negative effect on my reputation as a saint. For 3 years, I continued doling out blessings. One day, while I was offering a prayer, my mother let slip her discontent. "Why must you hand out miracles for nothing? Why must you give strangers grace? We should be getting compensated. We deserve ruination. If we charge just a little bit for our each blessing, we could be living so much more comfortably." I was dumbfounded. How could the mother of a saint say such things? Helping people was my divine calling, and she expected payment? I nearly wept, hearing my mother's preoccupied with such worldly desires. So I explained to her how important this work was. I taught her that we were not to covet material wealth, that we were to dedicate our lives to the service of our fellow man. "You're right, my dear saint," she said, understanding. And I believed her. I fell asleep that night, convinced she truly understood and that there would be no more problems. But the next day, I was sold off. Men I had never seen before carried me by the arms and tossed me into a carriage. Confused and panicked, I stuck my head out, searching for my mother. Off in the shadow of the house, I saw her with a strange man, accepting a bag of coins. The carriage rocked back and forth, as it rolled along a dirt road. Shaking and bouncing with it, I struggled with an overwhelming grief and despair. It was perhaps the first time in my life I'd felt such a powerful emotion. I didn't know what I felt, so much despair over though. Obviously, it was over my present predicament, but I wasn't sure what about it hurt the most. Was it that I had been pawned off like a slave? Was it that my mother, the mother of a saint, had been blinded by money? Was it that the villagers had watched in silence as a disciple of the Lord carriage? Or was it that I, daughter of God, lamented about my misfortune like a mortal? I decided it was a trial. My father, the Lord God, was testing my worthiness of being his daughter. So my urge to cry and sat there in silent contemplation. For almost 3 weeks, I was rocked around in the carriage. The coachman treated me well enough, but I'm certain it was only because he didn't want his precious cargo dying before he could deliver it. He did not, by any means, think me the child of God. The 3rd week, the carriage arrived at a city. It was much larger than the village I'd grown up in, with many, many more people crowding the streets. Something about them felt different, too. They all spoke in a tongue foreign to me, which is when I realized I was far, far away from home. I was delivered to the lavishly covered mansion of the region's lord. Brightly colored flowers bloomed wildly in the garden as guests laughed and ate extravagant meals. And in addition to them, there were probably 4 times as many slaves moving about the grounds. Getting a range of looks from everyone we passed, from smartly dressed men to scrawny and masked servants, I was led to the Lord's chambers. The Lord was surrounded by beautiful women. Perhaps they were slaves, or perhaps they were prostitutes. I couldn't tell. Among them were some girls hardly older than me. They all wore thin swaths of cloth, barely covering themselves at all. The Lord looked me up and down, and with a laugh he said,
Duck. Duck.
Welcome, daughter of God. You'll be performing miracles for me now.
Miracles are not something to be performed for one single person's benefit, I replied, shocked and furious he had just said something so utterly blasphemous. In response, he said, Batu, you are my property. You have no right to an opinion. But I would not have any of it. I entreated him to give up his indulgent lifestyle and to devote himself to the service of the Lord. But The more I pleaded, the deeper the creases on his face grew. Thinking back on it now, it was hardly surprising. A 9-year-old girl was scolding the most powerful man in the region. I believed it was my duty, that I was only doing what was right, but he surely saw it as an incredible arrogance. So the Lord forced his will upon me. He bound my hands and feet and cut me without my permission, filling a goblet with my blood and passing it around to his guests.
Look,
A saint's blood and good fortune to all!
That was when I realized the Lord was only interested in the approval of others. He reveled in their envy as he pranced about, showing off his curious new toy. Me. He didn't need my miracles. Neither he nor any of his guests were afflicted with disease or misfortune. They were all richly blessed. Every time he threw a banquet, he drained me of my blood. It became nearly impossible to find a spot on either of my arms that wasn't a swollen, reddish-black gash. And soon, because my arms were providing enough blood for him, the cutting spread to my legs. I lived in a haze of half-consciousness. Honestly, I'm amazed it didn't kill me. Though perhaps the Lord was simply taking care to not make it any more take any more than my body could spare. Watching the wealthy partygoers laugh and sip my blood through bleary eyes, another wave of despair came over me. My miracles, my blood, were not meant to be an appetizer at a feast. They were meant for the sick and the poor. But despite my wishes, the Lord persisted to squeeze me dry day in and day out for his own enjoyment. For a while, I was convinced it was all God's test. It was part of his plan for me, his daughter. That if I can make it through this trial, I'd be allowed to go back to helping people. That man would celebrate my success, envy me, worship me. That sinners would face punishment. That divine retribution will be delivered unto all who wronged me, a saint. With each passing day, my spirit grew more twisted. Would anyone have believed that scarred and bloody girl tied up on the floor of the banquet hall was a saint? Unlikely. This was no charitable gathering, but on a holy Sabbath. Perhaps it was caused by my own corrupted spirit. Perhaps it was my heart's way of crying for help. Or perhaps it was the devil giving me my witch's mark. But no matter what the cause, during one of the bloody banquets, I underwent a transformation. I was half conscious, as usual, when one of the guests pointed at me and shouted something. His face went pale as if he were afraid, which I found quite curious. The Lord then approached me, grabbing me by the hair and lifting my head. He yelled something, but I was far too gone to be able to make out what he was saying. Suddenly, I found myself released from my bonds. But my body had grown so weak from being tied up for so long, I didn't have the strength to hold myself up, and so I collapsed to the floor. I was still trying to figure out what was happening when the Lord drew his sword, raising it high above his head. His words in that moment reached me with perfect clarity.
look.
You're a damned witch wearing a saint's skin!
A witch? Why was he calling me a witch? I was the holy daughter of God. I had certainly never made a pact with the devil. What could have given him that idea? What was in store for me now? Had God performed some kind of miracle for him? Dozens of thoughts and questions floated through my mind as death hung over me. I couldn't comprehend anything, and so I didn't feel any fear or anger at my impending death. I was simply curious. What had happened to me? But before I had a chance to find that answer, the Lord swung down his blade.
Without warning, without any time to prepare, the darkness drains away. What? Great.
Oh, it was just getting good. Like, really?
I mean, to be fair, it was just an ending. If it just cut there.
There's the scene transition.
Without any time to prepare, the darkness drains away. And a second later, I crash into the stairs, hard. Right in my ear, I can hear the hiss, hiss of the river of blood. The world fades in and out of view, giving way to very real images of a past I never lived. I can practically feel the fire in the eyes of that mad blood banquet's guests. My vision distorts. I can't regain my focus. Whose blood is this streaming down the stairs? Is it hers? Is it mine? Who am I? Who am I? A saint? A witch? Is what I'm seeing through a lens of clarity? Or madness? Wait, no. No. I am not her. I am Michelle. No one else.
It hurts, doesn't it? It's hard to breathe. Your chest is on fire. Your vision is blurry. It's dark. It's lonely. It's scary. It's frustrating. It's disheartening. It's exasperating, isn't it? What you're feeling is exactly the pain I felt.
I reach my hand out in a plea for help, which is when I see something I can hardly believe. Both my arms are covered in gashes, blood flowing from them without end. The raw flesh beneath my skin have been exposed to the open air. All I can bring to myself to do is scream. That pain, her horrible past, is doing everything in its power to break me. That 9-year-old girl's sickening experiences are twisting and constricting and crushing me. But what is this
Happening to you? Are you really that slow, my dear? You're empathizing with my pain. You're just that kind-hearted, Michelle. You said you wouldn't give up, didn't you? That you would make your way to me. Then surely this won't be enough to do you in.
No, of course, it won't. Mustering up every last bit of strength I can, begin crawling up the stairs. The red river beats against my open wounds, stinging painfully. The simple act of lifting an arm or a leg is almost unbearably agonizing. The blood dripping from my lacerated arms mixes with the blood already soaking the tower. So this is the pain Morgana suffered? Do you despise everyone, Morgana? Did your resentment at your mother's betrayal, at the people who came seeking your blood, at the Lord who took your life, turn to hatred for all mankind?
Your perception of me is still incorrect, Michelle. My grudge is only against a select few. Think about it, my dear. Of the thousands, millions, billions of people living on this planet, my world is compromised of but a few minuscule fraction of that. Hatred for all mankind? No, what I feel is not nearly so nebulous. Although, if I had died still believing I was a saint, maybe I wouldn't have such a well-defined mission.
Are you saying the Lord didn't kill you?
Oh my, did you actually think that was the end of my tale? Despite all your big talk, you're afraid of having to suffer through any more of that, aren't you? But you're the one who said you wouldn't give in. So go on. Know my pain. Without losing your mind.
Once again, my surroundings crumble. Had no say. Had no chance to object before I'm dragged back to that repulsive banquet. I reach out, stretching my hand as far as it will reach, but I can grab its darkness. A bloody body sinks back to the abyss. Pain becomes more than just a memory, eroding away my consciousness. Duck,
You're a damned witch wearing a saint's skin.
so yeah, we can skip over this part because it kind of spoils Requiem.
And then stuff happened.
Did somebody call for some transitional music?
Let's not do that. Wrapped in absolute darkness. Warm blood spills onto my cheeks, my hair, my skin. Chunks of human flesh rain down on me. Make it stop! Pitter patter, pitter patter. There's no end to the deluge. The smell of death fills the air. Struck with a wave of nausea so strong, can't hold back the contents of my stomach. And when my mouth opens to vomit, blood pours into it. Let go of me! Dead bodies grab my ankles, dragging me down. To where? Hell? Or to the mountain of corpses?
Now do you understand that there was a time? If but briefly, when I was happy, when I felt human emotions. But I wish I never had. If I had remained confined to my daughter of God shell, then I doubt I would have felt so much terror at the sight of death.
I can't say anything in response. I can't form words. I feel what she experienced, the massacre she witnessed, the limp flesh piling up around her. Even more than twice her age, it's enough to drive me mad. The fact that a 12-year-old girl had experienced something so unspeakable devastates me.
Tell me, my dear, do you pity me? Do you sympathize with me? If you feel bad for me, then you'll remain with me. You'll feel my pain and my despair with me. Won't you?
The witch's cackle echoes to the pile of bodies. There's not a speck of light, and hideous death lingers everywhere. Helpless to resist, I'm dragged down to a deep, dark ocean. An ocean of blood. So, CJ, I didn't skip there. You pretty much would be narrating a wall of text for like 45 minutes.
Did you say all this will be covered in Requiem?
Yes,
Okay.
it's better to see than to tell.
Five hours later.
This time, my body crashes into the tower's stairs. I'm unable to make a noise. The obstruction is less mental, more physical. Excruciating pain. It's so intense I can't even echo out a scream. My vision is distorted, my mind thick with fog. I feel like I fall into a bottomless pit if I loosen my grip on my consciousness even slightly. Through the haze, I see my own severed left arm, reflected in a pool of blood. I see my face, large chunks of flesh peeled off.
Look at you, trying to crawl up those stairs like a worm. How pathetic. It's like I'm looking at my old self.
Can barely form a coherent thought. Can't lament her inhuman fate. Can't mourn for her. Be shocked by the revelation about the three men, her history of them. Pain. It fills every corner of my mind, every nook and cranny of my body.
You figured it out by now, haven't you, my dear? You'll never make it to me. It's not possible. But it's not your fault. It's not because you're weak. There's simply no one who can bear this pain. You're allowed to give up, to rest. There's nothing wrong with that. The pain, the crushing weight, it's miserable, isn't it? But all you have to do is turn back, and it will all go away.
The witch whispers its sweet temptations.
You've put in a fine effort. There's no shame at all in throwing in the towel.
Her voice is soft, gentle, pleasant, saturating.
Concede defeat.
If I do, it will all go away. Searing pain spreading from the stump of my left arm. The sensation of being perpetually drained of my blood. The miserable solitude of staring out a door that never opens. The laughter I can hear through the window. The miserable wailing, his maddening hatred, can end it all.
That's right. It will all be over. You have the power to make it stop.
Make it all stop. No. I can't let that happen. No. I have to. Get her back. At my side. I'll do anything to take her back. Even if it means I have 1,000 tiny scraps of meat. I would not give up on her for any reason.
You won't, will you? Oh, such beautiful resolve. Willing to sacrifice yourself to save the girl. Like a hero of legend. Or maybe a fairy tale prince.
No. I'm no hero. I'm no prince. I am a human. An ordinary man. I don't have any extraordinary potential. I'm not a courageous leader or a charismatic general. I'm just a regular man in love with a regular woman who refuses to lose her. I don't need any other accomplishments, only that. That's all I need, because I'm just a regular man. My one act of resistance. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter how much you cut me up. Nothing changes what I have to do. I have to take her back and set her free of this mansion. Nothing else. And never will I back down on that. Arms a no. As long as I can move, I must push forward. I must make my way to the woman who waited for me for so long. Up to the top of the tower. Forward. Ever onward. Dragging my bloody body, paying the pain of my mind. I once more arrived atop the observation tower. I placed my hand on the door, holding myself up with my lacerated right arm. Take a moment to catch my breath, then lift my head, gaze into the void and shout her name. Morgana! I pity you. I truly do. You were a saint shackled with unfathomable fate. For that, I am enraged. As I felt your pain, as I watched your life, I too felt a burning hatred for those 3 men.
If you truly feel that way, then why can't you stay here with me? We're all dead anyway. We've reached our ends. Do you honestly think there's any more for us? There isn't. The end is the end. So what do you say the 3 of us, me, you, and Giselle, torture the 3 of them and everyone they cared about? Make them suffer here for all eternity, in this house. And that way, you and Giselle can be together forever too.
That's not an option.
Why not?
Because hatred only brings you pain.
Oh, that's brilliant! You spouting stupid platitudes at me. I can't believe my ears. Save your nonsense moralizing about how hatred does you no good. I won't hear it. I'm doing just fine for myself, my dear. In fact, I've never been better. I feel wonderful. Did you think that would be enough to persuade me? Really? How disappointing. And here I thought you understood me.
Morgana.
Why don't you say what you really think? Go right on ahead. Hate them as much as you want. But keep me and Giselle out of it. Why didn't you just say that?
I do feel bad, truthfully, for all the time we spent together. And never once did I ask about your life. I was so focused on myself. In the end, I pushed you away.
That you did. You wanted to be with Giselle, so you pushed me out.
I wish I had asked you sooner.
It wouldn't have changed anything, though. One puny man knowing what I went through would hardly be enough to erase the loathing I bear. It would have turned out the same regardless. There was nothing you could have done for me. There is nothing.
Still, I would like to apologize. I didn't know what you carried in your heart. As I could have chosen my words better. Instead of rejecting you, I could have chosen some other response. I cannot remain in this house, nor can I allow her to stay here either. So I would like to apologize for both the past actions and my present.
In that case, open the door, Michelle.
Take another moment to catch my breath. Then I gather my strength into the hand on the door. Blood seeps from my fingertips, slowly trickling down the rough surface. It reminds me of my death. I'm coming for you. I push open the door, praying that will be the last. That beyond it lies light for Giselle. If possible, I might cast a bit of light on Morgana's heart as well. What? However, why am I in my bedroom? What I find behind the door is the last thing I expect. Huh? She appears from the shadows of my chambers. I can't conceal my surprise. Giselle? Is this another illusion, Morgana?
No, it's not. The real me. Thank you for coming all the way here for me.
She's thanking me. So why isn't she smiling?
That was very kind and courageous of you, Michelle. I'm deeply moved you would have such compassion, not only for her, but for someone like me. But do you know what else you are? You're a worm!
Was it this time? Morgana?
What do you say we pull back the curtain, my dear?
What curtain?
There's one detail that hasn't yet come to light. This isn't your first return to the mansion, is it? You've been back numerous times. Each time not remembering her, and each time hurting her even more.
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? Oh, you know good and well, my dear. Or do you honestly believe that all the other pieces were in their rightful places, and you alone were some exception?
I never...
Tell me, how was it? Living in so many different eras, not knowing who you were, and playing with all the different men.
No! You're out of your mind! You make it sound like I was...
Not like, my dear. You are the white-haired girl.
Enough! How could anyone possibly confuse me with her?
To tell you the truth, I couldn't see you as anyone else. Your white hair, red eyes, porcelain skin, and your name. Tell me, what about you isn't the same?
We're not the same person! I'm a...
I saw the letter.
What?
The one you had written.
No.
You didn't think that was worth mentioning?
No. Giselle, I didn't mean...
You're exactly right, my dear Giselle. He deceived you. He kept a very important secret from you. Despite showing up before you multiple times, he cast you aside again and again.
No. No! That wasn't me! It wasn't!
It all makes sense now. Nothing you ever did was for me.
Giselle!
Go on, Giselle. Tell him exactly how you feel.
Michelle,
Don't. Please. Don't. Don't say it. Not that. Please. I'm begging you.
You're...
Stop! Please, don't! Giselle!
not actually.
Please! Don't say it!
A man at all, are you? You're disgusting.
You're the only one it could have been, my dear. The only one who could have been the white-haired girl.
The next moment, my whole world comes tumbling down. Could have borne anything. Losing my arm, having my face torn off. Any amount of pain I could have handled it. For you, I could have done it. But this? Hearing those words coming from your mouth, being rejected by you, that I cannot. Those words, they buried me alive. You're the one person I never wanted to hear them from. When I learned my father Antonin had passed, I wrote 2 letters, one to my brother and one to my mother. It was the first time I found the courage to face my mother, to open up to her. I wanted to show her who I was, convince her that I wasn't cursed, so I could be myself when I returned to the capital with Giselle. Dear mother, there is something I wish to tell you, something that means a great deal to me. So I ask of you, please hear me out. And I ask of you, please accept it. Mother, I no longer bear any resentment for my present lot in life. Nevertheless, I ask of you to concede one thing, that I was never cursed, that I was always your son, that I am Michelle, not Michelle. I found someone whom I care for dearly, a woman, and I love her with all my heart. I'd like to spend the rest of my life with her. I do not wish for much, simply to have a quiet life with her, to go through our days together, man and woman. That is the one thing I want. Mother, I know you're aware that my body is no longer female. I am a man. My heart is male. And I ask of you to please accept that. I had no grudge with you. In fact, I'm incredibly grateful to you for bringing me into this world. With love, your dearest son. Shortly after sending that letter, I was killed. I'm dragged down, against my will, into the darkness. Beneath me spreads my own path. My door. The door I swore never to open. Despite all my efforts to resist, the door sucks me in, into a world I never want to see again. A history I never want revealed. A past I never wanted anyone to see. Nonetheless, the door opens. Frank, you narrate.
There were 2 things out of the ordinary about that baby. The first, its parents embraced, and the second, they wholly rejected. Although, it was some time before the baby's second peculiarity emerged. And until it finally did, no one was any the wiser. Not even the child itself. Its mother surely enjoyed that brief period of happiness before her child finally realized the truth. blind to the fact that the moment it had let out its first cry, everything came crashing down. To this day, she still doesn't know the child she gave birth to. That she set loose a curse upon the world. A curse that turned angels into demons, humans into witches.
Keep going, Frank.
My God, look at that.
Nico?
Ah, yeah, he's beautiful, isn't she? Have you seen her laugh?
Not yet, I haven't. At any rate, that color is certainly something else.
God's gift to us. No, she's an angel sent from heaven.
An angel. Ah, yes. I can see it now, Lydie. Her white hair and almost translucent skin, it's beautiful.
My, she opened her eyes. Maybe she felt you nearby. Huh? Do you like your father more than me? Is that it, sweetheart? Gorgeous, aren't they? Such a deep, enchanting color. Like jewels.
Ah, that they are. A magnificent shade of red. I've never seen anything like it. And this is our child.
She's special. I can feel it. We have to take good care of her. She needs a name. One that's just as special as her. Have you already chosen, Antonin?
You were the one begging for a girl. You do it. Besides, I already had to rack my brain for the boys' names. Now it's your turn.
Are you really going to let me? My, that's quite a lot of pressure.
Name her after an angel, then.
Oh, I like that. All right then. We'll call her Michelle after an Archangel Michael. You'll grow up to be beautiful as an angel, my Michelle. I've always wanted a little girl.
With her snowy white hair, skin so pale you could see the veins beneath it, and her ruby red eyes. She was a very peculiar looking little girl, and her mother showered her with love. She truly believed her daughter was an angel sent from above, born as a human child. The blessed babe, born a girl, was given an angel's name. Michelle.
Lini?
Me. Checkmate.